I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body
Like
full of tats.
we're goofy. We're a goofy species. Like,
Very.
I, like some of the shit that we do is just like isn't necessary. Just reinstate them. Like
Yeah.
I don't like with Alex Jones. I don't listen to him one way or the other. Like I've heard him on Rogan a few times, and I got a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not into conspiracy theories. The shit is obnoxious
Mm-hmm.
because it gets to this point where it's like you hear people like at least with Alex Jones. The things that I have heard, like a lot of that shit was like, oh yeah, he's on to something that
Mm-hmm.
like it's true, whatever his sources may be. Whereas you hear these other goofballs who aren't, anyone with any credit just saying nonsense like, oh, hollow earth and, lizard people and da da
Yep.
da. And it's like, well, it's like, don't listen to the news. It's like, well, where are you getting your info? Well, I'm getting my news from these people. It's like, well, what makes them credible versus somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just becomes this big headache where I'm like, I like to look at shit that's funny.
Yeah.
So if you say some shit like show me a picture of Brock Lesnar's daughter, that's funny to me.
Did you send me
It's
that,
fucked
or
up.
did someone else send me that? I saw that this weekend. I just don't remember who sent it.
I don't know.
It might have been
it
in
could have
our.
been me. I was saying that shit out there.
It might have been you. It might have been somebody else in our other chat. And I was like, that. I didn't get it at first, but dude, it was a crazy fucking weekend. Speaking of which, we'll just go ahead. And I'll get rolling here for a second because, well, crazy weekend. Actually, crazy last couple weeks since we've been doing the thing. So I don't remember if I mentioned this last time. I think the last time we did a thing, my mom had just gone in the hospital, possibly, and so she got out after like a day or two. She has seizures now, so that's fun. But then immediately after, my dad goes in the hospital because he collapsed out in the driveway. And he's been in the hospital now since last Friday. Actually, today, technically, he's getting out of the hospital, but he's going into a facility because he has a severe infection, like a severe blood infection. Somehow he got some type of staph infection in his blood. So he has to have IV antibiotics every 8 hours to fight this shit, and it's got to be for like a fucking month. And my mom can't do it because, well, now she's an epileptic. So she's like, it's like, what happens if she's having seizures in the middle of trying to give him his fucking medication, and he had to have like a PICC line installed, all this crazy shit. My dad's 90. And he shouldn't be going through this shit, which will be part of the conversation we're going to have here in a little bit. But also, like, I got in trouble with the wifey yesterday because, that happens, right? Every now and then you say the wrong thing and they get angry, like they do. Catching up there, the wifey now is no longer in a cast. She is just in a boot. And she's not very good about wearing it when she's supposed to. But I've yelled at her enough about that at the moment. But yesterday... So, since she's been in the cast and everything, it was easier for her to sit in the recliner than to get to the couch. Just a little bit easier to maneuver, right? A little bit easier to get up. And so, she's been in the chair for a while, and our furniture is not the most expensive and not the cheapest, but not great quality. So, our couch is actually breaking. I've actually had to do some physical repairs on it to restore it to some form of rigidity in the center. And I made a comment that said, hey, baby, I think it's about time, since you're no longer in a cast, you no longer have to use a scooter, you can probably get back on the couch. And she said, why? I was like, because I don't want the chair to break the same way the couch broke.
Okay.
Now,
see where that's going.
So, yes. So it was taken exactly as it sounds, as a commentary on her weight. However, it's not so much about her weight, so much as how she sits.
Yeah.
She has a bad habit, and I see people do this, where they don't brace themselves as they go to sit down. They just flop down onto said furniture.
Yes.
And when it's a recliner and it's a built-in recliner couch and all that kind of stuff, you don't have the framework you have on a normal couch. And I've seen a straight up normal couch literally collapse under the weight of a 400-pound dude just falling onto it and sitting down and literally split the thing in half. So, like I said, I brought it up and I was yelled at, and there was screaming, there was slamming of doors, there was throwing of things. So, I mean, my point still stands that, I at least want some of our furniture to survive. Because with everything else going on, we can't afford a whole new living room set. We could barely afford the living room set that we bought 5 years ago. So, she's still a little bit mad about that, but I do admit that, that did not come out. My concern is warranted. However, it was not the thing she needed to hear at the moment, and I admit that. So, I bought her 2 Dr. Peppers earlier to try to satiate her. We'll see what happens later, because I've got men's group tonight, so I won't be able to talk to her a whole lot tonight. So she'll just be able to sit and fume while I'm not here.
Sometimes sometimes it's not the worst thing, because even though it may seem like they could sit there and fume and get even madder, or if they're within reason, they understand, because we had a similar issue here too with how our couch is sat upon, and that's a conversation that we also had here. It's like, hey man, so you don't have to flop, you don't have to fall into the couch. Just seat and then sit.
Yeah. And then also sometimes it's how you get up too can be crazy, because she'll push back whenever she stands up, like both hands and everything, and it'll shove the couch, or in this case the chair, back. I had to keep moving it forward like 10 inches like a day, like at most. There was one day I was like, how in the fuck did you get it so far from where you started? Swear to God, it was 2 feet further back than it was when she first sat down. And so I pushed it back forward because, it's an easy gauge. There's a carpet. It's like, if it's on the edge of the carpet, you can tell where it is. If it's 2 feet from the fucking carpet, something's going on. So it's both a combination of how she gets up, how she sits down, and how she shuts the recliner. Because depending on how you're sitting on it, it can be difficult to get the stupid thing to shut. And so she'll sit there and slam it, slam it, slam it, slam it, and so it's every time she does that, it's scooching back a little bit more every time. I was like, baby. She's like, it's hard to shut with one foot, and then I literally just go thunk, and I just shut. So I've been sitting in her spot, because that way, I'm sitting directly in front of the TV. Now she's off to the side, because she's always managed to get the premium seat in the house. I don't know how that happened, but she manages to get that. So one way or the other, I'm usually off to one side. Now, my side of the couch is worn out, but in a different way. Mine is worn the way I sit, off to one side, so one edge of it is more divoted than the other and kind of pulled away from the fabric and stuff. But it's not collapsing in on that stuff. Yeah. So apparently we all sit the same. It's like we have similar sitting. You probably walk in, see our couch, and go, I get it. Like, just look at it and go, I see what's happening here. Like, this looks familiar. And then you pick the other spot because you're like, I'm not sitting there. It's like,
sure this common.
That's actually funny. It's a very common problem, I guess. So, but yeah, that's how I got my ass in chewed out yesterday. So I literally retreated. Normally I don't. I'll sit there and whatever. I was about to pull up the newest episodes of Doctor Who. The 60th anniversary specials, and I said, no, probably a good idea for me not to be sitting in the living room with her. So I retreated to the bedroom to watch those things on my phone instead. And then eventually she came to bed early and didn't say a word to me until I don't know, 9:30 or something like that. It took a while, and those weren't very pleasant words when they were uttered. So, and then this morning she got mad at me for making her breakfast. She's like, why are you making me breakfast? I was like, I didn't ask for food. I was like, because you're hungry? It's like, you don't have to say it. It's like, I know I'm going to make you breakfast before you go to work. Shut up and eat,
But if you did make breakfast,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, either way, if it saves her having to stop and get food or whatever on the way to work, it is what it is. It's freaking waffles. It's not like I'm going out of my way. And then I had to work today, which is unusual. I'm normally off, but I think my boss said something about Saturdays being weird for the next couple weeks till Christmas. He said something the other day, and it's like, I don't know what that has to do with me, but okay. And he's like, hey, do you want to go do this today? And, I know normally you're off. And I'm like, that sounds like it sucks ass, but it's definitely better than the stuff you've been giving me to do. Because he understood that my back has been fucked up. So I think I have a what's the word I'm looking for here? I was going to say solution, but that's not the truth. I think I have some explanation for what's going on with my back. Like, I legit have a back injury. Like, I definitely have some pinched nerves in my back. I definitely have 2 lightly twisted vertebrae. That's a given. But the pain I've been in the last few weeks seems to have managed to alleviate itself after I discovered one important thing. I was incredibly full of shit.
That can do it.
Like, it's so much to the point that when I went to the GI doctor the other day, I asked him, I was like, is it possible to be literally so backed up that it could press on spinal nerves? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, that explains a fuckload. I was like, so it's almost like I have a weird cyclical problem. It's like I have a spinal nerve that slows down my digestive tract when it gets pinched. Then my digestive tract gets built up, and then it starts pushing on that nerve again, causing pain. So I spent the better part of a few days cleaning myself out. And I feel surprisingly less pain. Of course, I have blown through all the toilet paper in the house, but, there's that problem, Not a problem you share.
Can't relate.
No. I can honestly say I've never been more jealous of somebody with a colostomy bag than I have in the last few days. Once I have understood my current problem.
I don't know. There's envy on this side sometimes. It's like, man, like you get a quiet, like you get like quiet time. I don't get that. I have to go and like actually hide in the house, like climb in the attic and just like pretend that I'm not there. Make noise. They think it's a fucking mouse, and they're like, "Oh, don't go up there."
Yeah, no. That is. Yeah, that's a good point. You don't have anywhere to escape to for 20, 30 minutes. Like I mean, I'm not escaping any children or anything, but you do lack that.
That's the main escape.
Yeah, must get away from Sophie. All the questions, constantly the questions. I saw it on your face when I said that. It's like she just never stops asking shit.
I mean, it's because of the age. It's like I get it, but there are times where I just want like, are you fucking stupid? But it's like, well, no, she's not stupid. It's just she's 7 and she's like got questions about the world. Like that's how they get unstupid. But in my mind, it's like, yo, shut the fuck up, yo. Quit asking questions.
Yeah,
like,
it's a good thing she's cute.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Dude, trust me. If she was a fucking ugly kid, I would have left her at the fucking fire station years ago.
Well, you know a guy. You know a guy.
I asked about it once. I was like, "Hey, like, is that really a thing?" It's like, well, it hasn't been a thing around here, but I'm sure it can be done. I was like,
yeah,
not that I'm going to do it.
Look, better that than any dumpster. Look, let's just be honest here. Better that. Better, yeah. So that is. Not every state has it either, but Texas does. I know for sure. So either way, guys, welcome back to the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, episode 77. It's been a couple weeks. Apologies, as I was relaying earlier. It's been pretty chaotic around here between doctor's appointments, things just going nuts with my parents, and work being completely random right now. I haven't even had time to record an actual video worth a damn. Like, I've got stuff just sitting over here, like, for weeks on end now. I think I even mentioned it before. I've just got weeks and weeks of fucking stuff piled up, and now I got, like, a pile of loot going on at fucking BBTS that I need to ship because I need to get my my new Christmas Black Series figures in so I could build up a little Christmas diorama to annoy the wife. So, of course, I am Shoky. You can follow me at all the Shoky-related links down below. And, of course, with me today is Dante.
What's up, y'all?
Yes, coming to visit me again because he's my only reliable co-host at this particular notion. And, of course, thanks to you, last time I hit 10,000 subscribers and then immediately lost the same amount that you gave me.
Well, you know what? They probably like confirmed, like, "Whoa, that was quick. What the fuck?"
Yeah,
It's all come like from a similar IP address. Oh,
yeah.
it's all the same IP address. Fuck
It might have
that
been.
guy.
It might have been that. But then I gained it back. So I hit 10,000 subscribers twice in the same week. So not a lot of people could probably say that. And I think I'm still hovering at exactly 10,000. Like I hit 10,001 for like a day, and then it went away. But that's okay. So I'm still hovering there. It felt good to get that weird little milestone. It means nothing in YouTube days, but especially considering I'm not really doing a whole lot of content at the moment. I mean, I've had over 10,000 subscribers, technically speaking, with all my channels combined. But it's just like, it's like Captain Planet up in here. It's like, with these powers combined, I have 10,000 subscribers. Actually, I think that's the same. That's the right amount of. Yeah, that might be the right amount of syllables. Either way, Captain Planet is something that has not returned, and I'm kind of glad it hasn't, because I feel like they would fuck it up big time now.
I think the not off the So You Like Horror episode that's coming up this weekend.
Uh-huh.
We were talking about Captain Planet. I don't know how we got to Captain Planet. I think we were talking about Tubi. We were talking about something, and Captain Planet came up, and I was like, "Where Captain Planet's there?" And Phil or someone said, "Yeah," and I was like, "I'm jerking off to that tonight." And Sarah just looks at me like, "What the fuck?" It's like,
Yeah.
and no, it's not going to get edited out because it's an in-person episode, and they don't get edited. So,
Hey, Captain Planet, the lightest skinned Whoopi Goldberg's ever been.
hey,
When she was,
I don't know, that Russian chick was kind of doing it. I think she was Russian, the blonde chick. Like she was Russian with the fucking bullshit Russian accent.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was doing it for me, but I was a little kid.
I forgot her fucking name. It's not my mind says Blanca, but that's not right. It's something like that. It's something like Blanca. I don't remember now, but I know it was like Wheeler was the fucking American dude with the fire.
Yeah, the
Mati, Mati, Kwame.
Yeah, they had an Asian chick, right?
Yes, of course from China, but I forgot her name off the top of my head now. Of course, I forget the women. It just sounds so bad. We forgot the women's name, except for Gaia. Gaia was easier to remember. Spirit of the Earth.
Yeah.
Shit, that's it. Name it. Now I gotta go fucking look. Maybe it started with an R. Maybe it was like Rinka.
Yeah,
or Linka.
I'm on it right now.
You got it.
Let's see here. So there's Gaia.
Yes.
You guys aren't making this easy.
No.
Fucking dumb.
Okay, Linka. I did say. I was right. I said Linka. A minute ago. Guy. You feel like that would have been the easy one. So it was Guy was the Chinese chick.
Linka, yeah, Gaia, Guy, yeah.
Yep, that was easy enough.
Seems about right.
Yep.
Kwame
was LeVar Burton? How did I not realize this?
Yeah. Yep, yeah, no shit. Like,
seriously,
really?
How did I not know that in all those years?
Hmm.
Wow, that seems like super easy to have picked up, but no. So that means we had a couple different people from Star Trek up in there. Okay. Captain Pollution. That's so funny. In the list of characters, Captain Pollution's the first character that came up. It's like, that seems odd. Why wouldn't you start with, I don't know, the titular character? But dude, I always loved the names. The names on the show were the best. Fucking Loot and Plunder, Verminous Scum, Duke Nukem. Like, it's just fucking great. Dr. Blight, who, I'm sorry, she had some shit going on. I know like half her face was scarred, but fucking skin tight fucking...
I don't know. I was always a fan of Dr. Blight. I think it might have been just the name. The name seemed cool to me. I was like, oh, you seem fucked up.
And that was Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
Seriously though, like, how do we not know these things? I guess when we were kids, who would have known? Okay, weird random tangent at the beginning here. My nose.
Still jerking off to it.
Yep. Now don't jerk off to Don Cheadle, Captain Planet. That's a different thing entirely. If you're doing that, you got a problem.
No, not at all. That's causing nightmares, but laughter is at the same time.
So I think it would have to be like Captain Climate if it came back now, and like you'd have to have like Greta in there. Greta would have to be one of them for sure.
So an autistic.
Yeah, autistic Swedish girl. Yeah, autistic Swedish girl. You definitely have to get at least several South Americans to probably do the one job of Mati. Now remember he had a little monkey sidekick as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you can have a monkey sidekick anymore.
No, not like that. But I mean, no, they're all extinct. That's the
Probably
problem.
they'll probably get some kid that worked in like some sort of fucking mines in Africa or something. I don't know.
Mm.
Like, because I don't know where Kwame was from, but you know,
Somewhere in Africa.
he seemed pretty. That one would think, but I don't
Yeah.
know. He didn't feel that way. You know, it was like you seem kind of Americanized, homie. You from
No, I
Detroit?
mean, no, because he had like the bracelets and the necklaces and stuff, and like they literally picked him up like out of the savannah, you know, with all
So did my
the
cousins
with all
in
the
Detroit.
animals. Yeah, but I mean, like that was with like all the animals that clearly don't exist in that actual environment. It looks like he's really at like a zoo. Like just picked him up out of the Detroit Zoo. Is that what happened?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh
They're
no.
like, oh, just make it look like he's in Africa. No, that is downtown Detroit. See, White Castles is right there in the corner.
Oh no.
Tiger Stadium.
I mean, you would definitely have to have someone from Palestine, 100%. Especially if it's made now.
Of course.
You could have a Russian, but
Of
more likely
course.
it'd be Ukrainian. And you
Yeah.
probably have Korean, not Chinese, maybe Japanese if you're gonna go there. But I don't know. It would not be the same by any means, and they would be fighting all white people, and especially
Yeah, of
Americans.
course.
Especially Americans.
You might get a Filipino in there to represent the Asians
Maybe, but I
and
don't know.
Mexicans.
Yeah, literally. You said it, not me. Look, even Filipinos admit they're the Mexico of Asia. They admit it. All the Filipinos I know, they admit it. They like it. It do
Yeah.
be like that though. Especially the naming
I get
scheme. I mean,
confused.
they're all Spanish names. It's like
When I
what
see
the
an Asian,
fuck?
when I see an Asian dude with the last name Flores, I'm like, I'm so baffled right now.
Yeah.
Why are you Juan Ricardo?
Juan Ricardo, but you're definitely from
No,
Asia.
that's a fact. I have a friend.
Yeah. Oh,
Like his family, they call him JR, and I didn't know for years. And then I heard his mom call him Juan Ricardo. I was like, yo, get the fuck out of here. I was like, aren't you
That's-
Filipino?
Yep.
And then I
100%.
learned.
100%. And of course, guys, you can go follow Dante at all of his mini podcasts, such as Columpton Off the Mats, and So You Like Horror. I'm behind on all of those things, but I need to get back into.
So am I.
Yeah, well, I know you are, but you do it. It's easy for you to be behind. But like, I just got caught up on Nerd Rage. I'm finally on the most current Nerd Rage. So I mean that. Because I've been watching a whole lot of other podcasts and stuff like that at work, mostly like comedy related things because life is so fucking grim now. It's like I want to laugh at more things. And last week's episode of Kill Tony was, except for one person, was probably the funniest one I've ever seen. So I laughed way too hard watching Kill Tony last week. I have not got a chance to watch this week's yet. I'll do that tomorrow at work. So if you like comedy and you like people picking on each other, by all means, go watch Kill Tony. It's a combination of stand-up and roasting at the same time. Actually, you sent me a Kill Tony clip. Forgot who or what it was, but yeah, you sent one a while back, and I was like,
I remember seeing it.
yeah, and I'd seen that episode, so I was like, I know this shit. It's like I recognize that stage.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, I know this.
Yes,
But I hadn't seen that specific one.
yeah. Now I gotta scroll back. God damn, we meme way too much. Oh, that chick. That's right.
Well,
Okay. That's what it was. I remember her now.
That's the thing. It's like when I'm sitting around, I'm like going through to do my regular post,
Yeah.
which I think I'm behind right now. Like I get distracted because I'll see other shit. I'm like, well, I'm not going to put this on my regular post because it doesn't fit right now. But I gotta send this to people.
Yeah.
So it's like I have like 6 people that I send different memes to. So like either I'll send everybody the group ones, or there's some of you that just get certain ones because it's like, okay, this person is in for this one.
Yeah.
But that person can't have this one because I know that's going to cause some shit.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Like if I send some trans shit, if I send a trans, one out, I know 2 specific people that they'll jump on me. I'm like, okay, relax, lady or guy, whichever one you are today. And because I have a friend, they're not trans. They're just, I guess, they're non-binary. They're fluid. I don't know what the fuck, but they do weird shit, and I'm like, okay, I can't fuck with you with these jokes, but I can fuck with you with some other jokes.
Yeah.
But I can't fuck around with like the gender jokes because they get super emotional. I'm like, when are you going to understand that I'm not trying to be hurtful towards you, but also understand that I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it can exist in the same bubble. Like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I also don't care about your feelings either. I like to laugh at goofy shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes goofy things. There are things that are offensive to me that I find funny because it's like, well, that's fucked up, but it is actually funny.
Such as?
It's life.
I want to know what those things are so I know what to send you.
No. I have this one chick in Chicago that sends me a lot of fucking horrible stuff. I'm like, I'm not supposed to laugh at this. I know I'm not supposed to, but
yeah,
it is kind of funny.
Oh, is that kind of like that dude that they always show where he's like, and the Jesus is like coming up behind him? It's like, no, I shouldn't laugh at this. that's I don't know what that's from. I don't know where that particular meme came from, but it's hilarious and it works every time. Especially when it's like midgets.
As soon as I see
doing
something
things.
fucked up, I know it's coming.
Yeah, especially when it's midgets. Yeah. Midget memes are the best, and you send me enough of those to keep me in business.
I'm terrified of like legitimately like stressed out by them. Like when I worked at I won't say which job. I worked at a specific job in a warehouse, and like they hired a bunch of temps to come in, and one of them was a little person.
Yeah,
and it became a question in my mind of, they can't particularly do this job. And I know the ideal is like, well, you got to hire them because if you don't, it's discrimination. It's like, well, no, they can't. They literally can't do the fucking job. They can't reach the goddamn things on the fucking third shelf.
Yep.
There's 6 shelves and they can't reach the third one. You like, come on, son. You got to understand life. And I remember when I first fucking saw her, I left for the day.
Oh, was it her?
Like my manager. Yeah. Like actually, those are the ones that are like, they stress me out the most because like little people porn. Like I hate that shit. Like when I stumble upon it, I get really, really stressed out, and then I can't fucking finish jerking off.
I can't say that I've stumbled upon little people porn, but I've definitely not gone looking for it either. Because I'm not much.
Don't look for it. Like
I will not Google spinners.
I mean, I feel like I shouldn't either now.
Yeah.
So I'll steer away from it.
That was a good joke.
I'm curious.
That was a good joke in house when they had a little person episode, and he made a spinner joke, and she's like, I love that show. I love that fucking show. House. He may not have been the best medical show, but it's definitely a great medical drama comedy. It's not classified as a comedy, but it's fucking hilarious. It's like whoever wrote for that shit was just fantastic. Yeah. So I only have a couple things I want to talk about real quick, and then I'll let you talk about stuff you've done in the last couple weeks since we talked. But I do have a hefty topic I want to get into based around shit that's been going on. But only a couple things to mention. There's been so much going on, but I just want to mention these things because it's like most recent or most important. I'm obsessed with Spider-Man on the PlayStation. I've been playing it like almost every spare moment, so I can claim that I don't have time to film videos and stuff, but no, it's just I'm playing fucking Spider-Man like 7 hours a day. It's fucking nuts, dude. It's like just endless side missions per fucking chunks of the city. Dude, I will say this. Not even a mission or anything else like that, but I said, let's go see how realistically they actually mapped out New York. So I looked up the actual address and intersection of the Ghostbusters firehouse, and I went and fucking found it. It took me 25 fucking minutes to fucking find it because some of the streets have to be merged because there's just not enough room to legit have every street, but it has like every major street and intersection. I found the fucking Ghostbusters firehouse in fucking Spider-Man. I was like, this is awesome. They actually included it. I was like, it's actually fairly realistically remade New York, although you can tell when some buildings are clearly fucking repeating, that kind of shit. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. But I'm in the tail end of the main game, and then of course with the remaster, it includes all the DLC and shit. I caught that shit on Black Friday. I got that and Miles Morales for 50% off. I was like, fuck yes. So eventually I'll get to fucking Miles Morales. And then hopefully by the time I'm done with that one, Spider-Man 2 will be on sale. I can fucking play that a year after the fact. But it's a fun game. I enjoy it. but I'm not necessarily the best at it because there's some shit that should seem easy, and I get my ass handed to me sometimes. I'm just like, I bet I'm not doing combos right, or I'm fat fingering this shit, or my goddamn triggers are dirty or something. It's not fucking figuring out the shit I'm trying to input. Because that's the most annoying shit ever when you're playing a game that you have to use every fucking button, and the two main ones you need are just like not working right. I'm like, god damn it. So it could be the controller's fucking filthy and I need to clean the shit. But so I've been doing that every waking moment. But I should say I did not watch this, but we watched the prequel to the Marvels. And I don't mean Miss Marvel, and I don't mean Captain Marvel, and I don't mean WandaVision. I mean Lessons in Chemistry. Because if you watch the Apple Plus series, Lessons in Chemistry, starring Brie Larson, it is all like early fucking like Captain Marvel acting. Like she's fucking like wooden and fucking shows no emotion or anything else like that. But that is the character she's playing. I was like, is she ever going to get to play like a lively character again? Because holy shit, she's been typecast as like bitch. Like it's fucking nuts. But pretty good series.
I mean, she also takes the role too. She doesn't have to take the role.
Look, yes. Okay. I still have not seen the Marvels yet, and it's no longer in theaters, so I'm gonna have to wait till it pops up on streaming here in about, I would guess, about 2 weeks, if I had to guess, given the normal time constraints.
They when it come out November 10th.
Yeah, so it'd be 45 days.
Looking at, I don't think they're doing 45 days anymore.
We're gonna do like 32.
There are
days?
a couple of them that went beyond that. They've been going beyond.
You think they would put it out faster, considering its complete failure?
I mean, Thor's a complete failure, and it took a long time too.
Did it? It seemed like it.
Yeah,
but it was also in theater for a while. It felt like the Marvels was not in the theaters for a while. It feels like that was in and out in like 3 weeks, and they're just like, nope. Because they weren't even meeting projections. So what did they make? Only like 78 million domestically or something like that? It's pretty fucking sad. Dude.
I mean, again, I think that's one of those things, again, where it's like well, unfortunately, they couldn't really promote, but I don't think promoting it would have really done it any help. But I do think a lot of it is just shitty people saying it's a bad movie, but those shitty people haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's a bad movie. And then dummies are like, you're right, it is. And it's like, and then all the people went to see, it's like, actually, it's not that terrible.
Bad. Yeah.
It's not great, but
no,
it's
yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah, if you go in, I know we talk about it here, going in with no expectations and especially if you have negative expectations, you're not going to leave on a good note. It's like if you're going expecting to hate it because everyone told you it fucking blows, you're not going to give it a fair fucking shake.
I think also, again, too, like I said, a lot of people who are saying it sucked didn't see it.
Yeah.
And that's their justification is like, well, I'm not going to see it because it's bad. I was like, okay, your opinion doesn't count. But I think also what's helping it, though, is that people are saying it's shitty. So when we do go see it, it's like, I expected so much worse. My expectations were below bad.
Yeah.
And it actually turned out to be just above bad.
So it exceeded expectations in that case. So I prefer to try to go in neutral. I mean, I already knew the movie had a lot of hate, but I was going to give it a fair shake. And when it comes on to streaming, I'll watch it, knowing that it was a failure, but not necessarily because of itself. I mean, like, so many other movies failed this year. It's kind of sad. It's almost like the Oscars need to have a new category for lowest earners, for biggest budgets this year. And see, that'd be a fun race. When you got movies like Five Nights at Freddy's going out there making $200 million fucking dollars, and shit like that, or Sound of Freedom making, close to the same $150-200 million worldwide. But like, and then you see a $200 million movie that can't even gross $100 million. However, even though the Marvels was out of theaters, the movie I did go see that I was actually really impressed by, Godzilla Minus One. Dude, like, if you're a Godzilla fan, you have to go see this fucking movie. Even if you're like just marginally a Godzilla fan, it's a good fucking movie. Like the Godzilla action, it is what it is. They go back to kind of the idea that it's kind of a force of nature situation. Like, it's not like the legendary version where it's like, ooh, giant monsters fighting the whole time. No, it's like, it's just Godzilla coming up out of the ocean, looking for fucking vengeance because he was annoyed that someone nuked him. Because in that universe,
That's fair.
he actually exists. Like the Godzilla is like basically a long lost dinosaur situation. We're going all the way back to the Godzillasaurus fucking days. And the cool thing is, like, they don't waste time getting to Godzilla. He's literally in the first fucking 15 minutes of the movie. It's crazy.
As I need.
Yeah.
I don't need a build up. Just start it off, get me into it in 5 minutes, and let's run that story.
Sorry, Sean just sent me a fucking ridiculous picture. But the movie actually, like, I fell asleep. I never fall asleep in the theater. I know that's like literally your Thursdays, but but for me, it's like if I paid money, I'm gonna fucking stay awake. If I'm at home, sure, I'll pass out on the couch and fucking pause it and go back, right? But like, I fell asleep through the slow parts of the movie. It was like after the second major event of the movie. Is like there was a weird lull like right after that before we went into the third act, and like I just fucking conked out for probably like 10 minutes. I was like, well, I mean, I fell asleep at like, and it was, to be fair, it was like the slow boring part where they're talking about the plan of what to do. So it was like, so it was kind of a surprise to me when I woke up and I got to see them doing the plan. So I was like, hey, I didn't know what they were actually going to do. Cool. But I also missed out on the reunion of a couple characters. I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here now. But I thought it was cool, and I like how, you know, it's set in the fucking 40s, so it's not like we have gigantic weaponry to go with. You know, Japan's only just trying to rebuild at all from World War II, so they ain't got shit. Like, even their warships have been ordered to be decommissioned because they weren't allowed to have an army and shit like that at that point, or a navy. And, like, dude, Godzilla is a legit threat in this fucking movie. And the cool thing is, like, he's not attacking some giant metropolis. He's, like, attacking this fucking small town, or, well, small city, I should say. You know, it wasn't straight up, like, it was a chunk of Tokyo, but what's left of, like, this area after the war, after the fire bombings, all this stuff. And, like, it's all about loss. It's all about found family. It's all about fucking figuring out who you are when your purpose is gone. Or when you don't know what your purpose is supposed to be. It was a good fucking movie. Like, just in general. And, like, the final fucking scene, I was tearing up. Like, I wasn't straight up crying, but, like, I was like, no, you're not gonna fucking do it. You're not gonna fucking... And I'm like, literally, and then they said the last words, like, God damn it. I was like, that was it. The last fucking things that was said. I was like, God damn it. I was like, of all things. I was like, it was really good writing. Really good character work. So definitely worth seeing. The CG is meh half the time. Sometimes it's like scary real, and the other times it's like, that looks like fucking PlayStation graphics, you know. And if supposedly the budget was lower than reported, which is crazy for the amount of shit that was in this movie. So the actual budget for the movie is unknown, but it's made a lot of money considering it's like limited theater release, you know, even in the US. So either way, go see Godzilla. That was definitely fun. And alongside, and I love this, in the Monarch show on Apple, they actually had a fucking minus one reference in the last episode. I was like, nicely done. Nicely done. It was like, it's like that makes sense why they had a weird release that 1 week, so they would time this release to come out when minus one dropped. I was like, that's fucking nice. It's like got Toho and Universal doing a little collaboration method there. I was like, cool. I was like, completely different universes, but they allow it to cross over. And that show's still good. I'm enjoying it, and they give us like new fucking monsters like every other week. So I was like, this actually kind of fucking cool, and building out a story that we never knew. And it is also setting up for the new Godzilla that's coming. The fucking trailer dropped for, you know, Godzilla X Kong, where Dom comes and joins them in his Charger to help them fight the new thing. This is where they cross over with Fast and the Furious.
I don't know if I posted that trailer to No Rage or not.
Yeah.
I know I saw it, but
pretty
I don't know
sure.
if I posted it.
I'm pretty sure you did. I
Dude,
saw it
I just
somewhere.
post shit. I don't know.
Yeah. It's got the new pinker Godzilla in it. So, and people are raging about that. It's like, seriously, this is not even the first time he's been pink. Even though last time he was more purple, this is not even the first time he's been pink. So shut the fuck up. Learn your Godzilla fucking noobs. So that's it for me. What you've been doing other than potting? Because I know that's the automatic.
Oh yeah, I mean that's been the big thing. It's prepping for, we just finished up the 2023 theme of horror through the decades. We
Yep.
just wrapped up. Phil, Teresa, Sarah, and I, we sat down, did that episode, and then we set up for 2024. Where I don't know if I mentioned it before here officially that it's going to be cursed films.
Mm-hmm.
So we got about 10 of them that we're going to kind of work through over the time. I actually talked with someone from TikTok who's got a big following, Horror Chronicles over there, and I'm excited because I asked her to come on, and she said, "Yeah, absolutely." I was like, "Holy shit!" I wasn't expecting a yes, so now I'm like, "Fuck!" I actually really need to do like work and
Yeah.
make it a episode that's worth her time,
Mm-hmm.
because she was like, "Look, I want to do the Omen or the Crow," and I was like, "Perfect," because those are back to back episodes actually,
Nice.
April and May. So I'm gonna try to get her for the Omen, because the first Omen, the prequel, will be
Mm.
coming out in April.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna try to do that episode, and then the Crow's 30th anniversary will be May 11th.
Mm.
That's when it dropped back in '94. So try to do the Crow, and time that. I think it'll be a couple days before the actual anniversary.
Nice.
So we set up for that. We've been watching Fall of the House of Usher, and I don't like when, like, I'm a big Mike Flanagan fan. Everything that he's done, I've been a fan of. I didn't care for Gerald's Game so much, but whatever. But most his work, I've been like, dude, love it. And I've had people ask me if I want to do an episode on So You Like Horror about it. I don't like doing TV series or shows.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot to it, and like I mean I'm not opposed to it completely, because I'll bullshit my way through it. Dude, I bullshit my way through most episodes.
Yeah.
But with a TV series, it gets a little trickier because they're just details that exist. But we haven't watched the final episode just because we're trying to watch it when we can with Sarah's work schedule, and then also with my recording schedule, because we usually do Compton on a Friday night, which means Saturday night is when Sarah and I get to sit down and catch up on movies and TV shows. But there's been recording or UFC events going on Saturday night, so it's like, okay, we've got to find a way to get to this. So in the last two episodes that we tried to watch, she fell asleep because she's so exhausted.
Yeah.
Because with her working nights, Thursday night, she just comes home Friday morning and gets right to, a field trip with the kid or whatever it may be. So by the time nighttime gets here, it's like she's passing out, because we didn't record Compton this Friday. So we tried to watch it. She passed out. So we tried to watch again on Saturday. She got through the part that she missed from the night before.
Yeah.
But she couldn't complete the next episode. So it's like, okay, we are finally down to the final episode. And I like it a whole lot, because I mean the show, I mean, it's based off of Edgar Allan Poe's short story Fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah.
But each episode is titled after one of the short stories or poems. And as you watch the episode, you get why it's titled that way. You get the connection.
Yeah.
And then it all kind of ties back up with the final episode being The Raven.
Oh.
Being just that the big one.
Yeah.
And it like my already have a theory as to what's what.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good show. And now, after having gotten this far through and also listened to the audio books of it, all the stuff, I'm like, you know what, maybe we will do an episode for it, probably in the summer, just with all the other shit kind of stacked up right now.
Just review it as a series as a whole, not like do full-on breakdowns.
Yeah. No, we're not going episode by episode. I mean, I could do that for next year, but for 2025, but I don't want to, the moment's gone by that point.
Yeah, of course.
But and that doesn't mean you can't bring it back. I mean, you do Friday the 13th episodes at any point. You can miss Friday the 13th and on the actual calendar, but still come back. Like, let's do a Friday the 13th episode. It's still going to be fresh. You do a Halloween episode, in August. It'll still work. But for me, it's just like, look, I'd rather just, keep it within this year. Even the summer will be a little late for it. But I mean, if you just do a like single episode kind of review of it,
yeah,
versus like, if I really wanted to get fucking medieval with it, I'd fucking wait till 2025 or switch my theme up this year and just say, okay, each month we're going to do one episode of, the Fall of House of Usher and kind of break it down. But, and compared to its actual short story and, run with that. But ain't no need for all that. But
that's a lot of work.
It is, but like listening to the story and then watching episodes, it's not too, it wouldn't be too bad. It's just that I've already committed to one thing and I've already started the preparation and I already got ideas and already got guests lined up for certain episodes. So I was like, okay, well, we're just going to stick with what we got already, but we will still do a fall of the House of Usher episode. I know Teresa likes to do goofy shit. Like, let's do Alfred Hitchcock episode, which is not goofy, but I don't particularly want to do a Hitchcock episode at all. Like, I respect his work and I enjoy his work. I just don't want to do an episode on his work, like exclusively. We did a Stephen King episode. Again, I love his work. It's like if you come to me and you say, hey, let's do an episode on this.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable or confident in saying, okay, you take the lead.
Yeah.
And I know it's covered. I know you got this. Whereas like with Teresa, she was like, let's do a Stephen King episode. I was like, okay. And then when it came time, I was like, all right, what you got?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
She thought you were going to take it on there. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, because I'm so used to doing movie and series reviews, from all my time on YouTube. So it's like, oh no, I have to do a thing about a thing. It's like, I brought it up. I better be ready to do my fucking part,
Well, exactly, and that's how I feel. It's like if I say, "Hey, Shoky, I want to do an episode on Grand Theft Auto 6."
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting you to do all the heavy lifting there. No. I'm gonna come with my stuff, and if you come with your stuff, then it's gonna be an episode that's gonna mesh well. Mm-hmm. Versus again, when we did the Stephen King episode, she did have information. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that she wasn't prepared, but she was like going with deep cuts because I think that was her thing. Is like, let me go with stuff that people haven't really heard of because I like these things that people haven't really heard of and I want to talk about. I was like, well, that's cool, but you got to kind of prepare the audience for that. So you got to make sure that audience, because it's not like the audience that listens to So You Like Horror is exclusively Stephen King fans.
Of course not.
Most of them aren't even exclusively horror fans. So you can't necessarily jump in like that. It'd be like me saying, like when we did Rubber.
Yeah.
I got a few comments from people like, yo, dude, I love that movie. It's like, okay, you're going to get your niche crowd. You're going to get your people that are being introduced to it for the first time. You're going to get stuff like that. But, for me to say, okay, let's just consistently do movies and episodes about shit that, not a lot of people know.
Yeah.
It could become problematic. But also I do shit for, my enjoyment. Yeah. If the listeners get into it, cool.
Yeah. I mean, if So You Like Horror was your weekly podcast, it would make sense to do all that, but it's not. So, I mean, it's like, so doing a lot of work for 2 episodes a month. Yeah. Totally makes sense. But like, doing that much shit, you'd have to do it weekly to really capitalize on that shit or more, especially if you're doing a series review. I mean, even though it's only 8 episodes, that would work as like double episodes a week and just knock that bitch out in a month, get it done. And that way you don't lose any steam on it either. Cause I mean, you could be like, okay, we're going to dedicate 1 episode a month to a House of Usher episode. Wow. That was hard to say for some reason. Could be the tequila. Look, I wanted to drink something, so I busted out some tequila. But like, if this were my only podcast and I were doing it weekly, the format for the show would be a lot different. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it was supposed to only be once per month. Yeah, but then it's just too much. Initially, I was like, it was just there were requests for certain episodes, and then it turned out it was like I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm getting a lot more content out of this than I was expecting. So let's do 2 episodes, and then in October we did 1 every week. Yeah.
And I was like, let me fall back now. We can go back into November, which I mean, then kind of lend itself to dropping the werewolf episode because it was like, all right, well, I'm actually behind now,
Oh
and
yeah, I need to go back and listen to that. The long lost werewolf episode.
yeah, I need to listen to it also because I don't know what was said on it. That was a year ago.
That's right. That's right.
Like, I'm
It can't be that
concerned,
bad. It can't be that
but
bad. It's you and Phil. Which I mean, I know with you and
no.
Phil, you are the problem when it comes to you and Phil. You don't worry about Phil. You worry about what you said to upset Phil.
So Phil's the problem because he makes me the problem. Like if he
No,
didn't make
that's
me
not how
do
that
this,
works.
then it would be fine.
It's not a look
No,
what you
it's
made me
exactly
do
how it works.
situation. That's called abuse,
It
Dante.
is. I've been listening. Yes, he is abusing me. You're absolutely right.
That's not
He
what I meant.
forced me to say horrible things.
He's like Uno
but-
reversing
but-
it, motherfucker.
But it did give me that space to kind of put that episode out there because I was like, once we got through November,
Yeah.
I had spoken with somebody. They wanted to do a horror comedy episode and talk about those movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we can absolutely do it. But we just never reconnected. And it was supposed to be December. And I was like, okay, well, look, we're just going to do the werewolf episode. Drop that now. Then I'm going to get the group together. And then we're going to do the wrap up for the decades. And then I didn't tell them this until everybody showed up. Hey, we're going to record episode 50 like right now.
No.
So, we're just going to get that January episode out the way now. They're like, okay. Well, Phil had to leave, unfortunately.
Nah.
But, it's that's been kind of the big thing going on now is just getting back in that mode for that podcast. I'm prepping for episode 200 for Off the Mats, which I think I have a plan.
Nice.
And it's nothing extremely unique. It's just people that are important to me for my gym that's helped me along my journey. I'm going to try to get us together and we're going to record and have a good time. And then Columpton, I think Steve's wanting to make some changes, but I'm going to resist just because like that's what I do. I like the because like he changed the name to Beer Club and it's like, dude, we rarely we review a beer and we talk about sports.
Yeah.
Like social club seemed to have been the right spot for the name.
Yeah.
Just because we're reviewing beer and we're talking about a lot of guy stuff. But if we were just strictly talking beer, and I think he wants to drop Columpton now and just call it I think he wants to call it the Baltimore Beer Club. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So
that and also it would be called BBC at that point.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah.
He was like, but then it might be, the initials be BBC. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know how well that'll go over. Plus, if we call it Baltimore Beer Club and then you hear all the shit I talk about Baltimore on that podcast, I don't know that that's going to go over very well.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
Yeah.
Why don't we just stick with what we have?
Yeah.
But
and plus, you change the name again means you got to change the logo. It's annoying to have to just keep doing this shit over and over. It's just fucking dumb. Like, stick with it or start a new show because, like, people hate when you change formats, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I've been trying to urge him to start his own show.
Yeah.
Because like he's got all these other ideals. It's like, well, I don't particularly want to incorporate all of that into Columpton. I mean, considering that this is the third podcast I'm doing, it's very, very low maintenance. And ideal, like I have my board here with the topics, and then that's all it is. I write the topics down and we talk. There's no real structure to it. We just have a conversation. He wants to record the reviews like video and put it on TikTok. I was like, well, you can do that separate. Like that you don't have to necessarily, take us in the middle of recording to try to do that. And like he's just starting to really get used to the idea of video content and stuff. And I was like, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but like a lot of those TikTok creators, they're taking hours to make a 2-minute, video. Like you're trying to get us to do a 3-minute beer review video in the middle of our podcast. I'm not doing that.
No,
Just,
it'd be better if you
you know,
just had the camera set up and you just recorded it live. Like doing it on purpose is one thing, whereas just recording it as you go and then do a fuckload of editing after the fact, because then you got to have multiple angles and blah 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 blah. Which means you need 3 main angles: you, him, both, and then perhaps maybe a beer cam. Which means you need 4 fucking cameras set up, which you could use GoPros, whoop-de-fucking do, cell phones, whatever. It's a lot of fucking work. Not to mention it's a buttload of fucking editing, especially if you've got to do the work. If Steve wants to do all that, let Steve do all that. Yes. Because even for me, like, I just got a thing in the mail today, or not today. What day is it even? It's fucking Friday. Saturday. It's fucking Monday. Oh my God. Saturday. This is what happened. I had one day.
Sure,
I had one day off because I only had Sunday off, so that's why my brain is fried. So I got a the next step in the evolution of the podcast from Amazon. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago that they had the same board that Bobby uses on sale on Amazon. I said they got fucking 5 payment financing. Or just fucking do it. It'll be basically my Christmas present to myself. So I do have a soundboard. Haven't been able to do anything with it. It's literally still in the fucking box. But that means that if I want to set up and do a fucking in-person podcast now, it'll be literally easy as fuck compared to the way I was having to do it. Which that is the ultimate evolution of the show, is to have in-person podcasts. I just got to get other co-hosts at some point. Yeah. But that's what I want to do. I want to have cameras set up and shit like that. Have more of an on-camera situation, because we're doing it over the internet. It's one thing. It also saves a little data to not have it. But just for Patreon, which, by the way, shout out to the patrons who are watching the unedited version of this. Which, oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. We actually had a Patreon watch night the other night, and we watched the Daily Wire's new movie, Lady Ballers. So
that worked out.
It was fine. It was funny enough, but it was definitely, for like a first outing into that territory. It was basically like a 2000s. It was literally like an early 2000s sports comedy. So like funnier things have been made. The premise is great. It had a decent story, and for considering almost no one in it was actually actors, they did a pretty good fucking job. But it was like there were some really fucking funny sight gags and stuff like that. The story, actual storyline is, basic retired coach wants to revitalize a career because he's basically Al Bundying this shit, living off of one really good, effort, and then want to rekindle that shit. So he decides the best way to do that is to get the old team back together, except now it's easier for them to play as women so that they can win. So they pretend to be trans to play in women's sports to win. And then
I'm not sure how You Want a Man worked out. I think, I think it was not to that degree. I think it was. It was a NBA player or a former NBA player.
Yes,
and he dressed in drag. And
yeah, no, I hit my knee on the desk like a dumbass. But no, I remember You Want a Man. Yeah,
like, I don't think it. Yeah,
but this took it
like a lot of.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was saying like a lot of like you're talking about the coach. He had that one moment he's like kind of Al Bundy in it. You have a lot of MMA fighters that do that. They'll get like that one big win.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, but most of them just open up a gym. They're like, okay, and they open up the gym off the premise of, hey, I beat so and so.
This person.
It's like, was it for the title? No, not at all. But I beat them, and they won the title.
It was a singular match. Yeah, and I beat him in a non-championship, regular old bullshit match, not for anything in particular, but that counts, right? Yeah, it was funny enough, but like I said, the sight gags were more the funny part than the actual comedy of it. But they did have comedians involved, and some of it was decently funny. It was a pretty well put together movie too, because it's like decent budget on this. It was like, and it was just pointing out the absurdity of men pretending to be women to get ahead in sports and the just sheer dominance that happens. They take that to the comedic level too. Like, so not just basketball. It starts in basketball, and then it just said, we can beat them in every sport. And then they're like, we could beat them in wrestling or in baseball or soccer. He said, real sport, motherfucker. No, that was a stupid moment. But like at one point they did what do they call it? It's like a 7 sport, whatever that is, septathlon, I think is what it was. Like a decathlon is fucking 10, so 7, whatever. And you could tell they half-assed this stuff to begin with, because like one of them was like shot put. If anybody's ever seen how shot put is supposed to fucking work in track and field situation, they were literally just and this dude, he doesn't shot put the fucking thing. He literally just chucks it like a fucking baseball, like halfway across the field. It's like, I mean, he won, but that's not how you do that. I was like, it's fucking stupid. They
could have got Brock Lesnar's daughter to fill in for that.
That would have been good. Oh, they did have a couple of actual athletes in there that came in to be beat by men in their sport again, to kind of drive the point home. They had one of them beat Riley Gaines in swimming again. So I thought that was pretty funny, because she's a good sport in that. But like the best actor is actually the fucking the chick who plays the reporter who actually sets them up to do this. And one, she's very attractive. I believe she is a TikToker as well. She's never acted before. This is her first acting role, and she's the most believable fucking person.
And I'm going to go look for her.
Yeah, I would pull up her name. But like she's playing like literally the sleaziest fucking character. Like she talks them into doing this. Fucking is into S&M and shit like that. Like she tortures the coach and like treats him as her quote unquote boyfriend, but like they keep coming back to them like he's all tied up and shit like that, like after they just done some shit, and then you find out later they literally have not had sex at all. It's literally she's just been fucking torturing him in a sexual situation and never giving him any. I was like, that bitch. But yeah, if you didn't pull it up, I can find it.
I got it right here.
Yeah, it's Lady Ballers.
Being goofy for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of
Oops.
I'll find her here.
I didn't want to click on him.
Oh, I'm sure that it's also horrible on Rotten Tomatoes. I wonder why.
I imagine that it's this chick here, because maybe it's this chick. There are a couple cutie pies, but
I think it was. Hold on, I'll find it. Danielle Considine. No, I'm sorry. Never mind. No, that's a different guy. Sorry, my bad. Where is it? Gwen. Billy Ray Brandt, I think.
Okay, Gwen Wild.
Yes, that's her, Billy Ray Brandt. Which sounds country as hell, but it's not. She's pretty attractive.
She's a cutie pie.
Yeah, but the fact she's like literally just like being like slutty and evil for the whole fucking movie is just like, yeah, I'm on board.
Those are my favorite types.
I know, I'm aware. If she had black hair and was pale, you'd be extremely down.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you'd
my
be
God.
extremely down.
I would let her do some weird shit.
So
I wouldn't feel bad.
But like I said, she's never done an acting role at all, and she fucking absolutely killed it in this fucking movie. So it was fun. I mean, I had to sign up for a fucking year of Daily Wire Plus to fucking do this because they tricked people. So it used to be you could sign up for a month at a time. But they said, well, people are joining to watch the movie, so we'll give them 50% off, but they got to sign up for the whole year. It's like, well, I mean, if they come out with more shit.
That's a thing that's, well, I know there's it's not just jiu-jitsu, it's grappling. It's called Flow Grappling. Okay. And they'll tell you a price. They'll say, oh, it's this much per month. So you're thinking, okay, well, I'll just go sign up for it monthly. Like, let me go do that.
But it's for a whole fucking year.
They never give you the option to like. There's no option at all for the monthly, so you have to sign up for that 1 year. And you know, I think they've gotten in some trouble for that recently. Yeah. But you know, there was someone did an interview. They're basically saying, look, we are made for the hardcore fan, not the casual fan.
Yeah.
Like the hardcore fan that loves grappling, whether it be wrestling, jiu-jitsu, sambo, judo, whatever, we're going to provide that for you. But you need, this is for the hardcore fan, not the casual. And I'm like, okay, well, I get what you're saying. I don't know. You know, you'd get money from me. Like if you just let me do it monthly, like you probably make a little more money.
Yeah.
Just especially with people that sign up monthly and then forget that they have the subscription.
Oh, yeah,
And
of course.
because that's happened with me with plenty of apps. We were just talking about having to purge some apps now because it's like, well, what are we not using right now?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of shit that we're not using. The only app that I consistently watch is Peacock, Shutter, and now that we've got the ESPN figured back out again, regular
yeah.
ESPN, not ESPN Plus. That shit is dumb. ESPN Plus is retarded. So
Yeah.
it's like I could watch all this. Like I could watch the Delaware Blue Hens play basketball.
Oh well, I mean,
with
the
ESPN
fucking
Plus.
they're due this year, aren't
Yeah,
they?
I'm so excited. Yeah, I know, right? They should win a game, hopefully. Like
Somebody
I was
needs
baffled
to.
by that, but I can't. Like, but the thing is, I can't watch like regular ESPN on ESPN Plus. So if I want to watch
what about the Ocho?
Monday night game,
Is the Ocho available?
No, not at all. That's what makes me even madder. It's like
By
none
the
of those shits are
way-
available.
By
It's
the
just-
way, the joke in Dodgeball was that ESPN Ocho is the fucking ESPN that takes all the really fucking weird sports, right? I swear to God, I watched fucking professional cornholing on ESPN 8 one time. I was like, this is not happening. This is not real
yeah,
fucking
I know.
life. I was like, I mean, and also
that's-
super compelling.
So I was scrolling through. I actually caught it on regular ESPN, not even Ocho. It was on regular ESPN, and I fucking lost my mind because being a grappler and I know jiu-jitsu isn't always the most interesting if you're in the gi, especially. It can be really slow, and it's not particularly built for the casual. No gi more so than anything.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, we can't get jiu-jitsu on here. We can't get jiu-jitsu in the Olympics, but we got fucking cornhole. We got breakdancing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
But I mean,
Like, get the
American.
fuck out my face with this
But there's the American Cornhole Association, which 100% sounds like an offshoot Garth Brooks song. If it's not, it should be. And look, cornhole's fun and all, but good lord, the professional one was ridiculous. Now, I will say, so real quick, what is your favorite not normal sport to watch unironically?
Hey, jiu-jitsu.
Okay, that's mainstream now. That's not it's something that most
not
people
really.
wouldn't bother to watch. Okay,
Most
fine.
people wouldn't bother to watch jiu-jitsu.
Fine. I'll give you that, but I was thinking like sport. That's more of a combat sport.
It's a sport.
Yeah,
I mean, poker gets lumped in.
I did say
it's a
combat
sport.
sport. No, poker's a fucking game. That's bullshit.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between athletic sport and like competitive, like competition.
Yes, that's why I was
you're
breaking.
still competing.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I hate that breakdown too because it's like, well, poker should be on ESPN. The fuck out of here.
No, the World Series of Poker
Right.
should have its own channel. Let's be honest. But I was getting at
Yeah.
is more obscure. They're not even super obscure, but like just shit. I really enjoy watching curling. Like unironically.
So I was
enjoy
gonna bring curling up because there's a curling
Jim.
arena out here because it's like probably 20 minutes from here, and we talk about it all the time. Like, yo, you want to go curling? I
would.
don't want to
would.
go curling.
I would.
But I will watch it. I will watch people.
there's-
I will if you in a group of people go like to the curling arena, I'll go watch you guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
I'm sure there's a gym somewhere in Texas that probably does curling, but it's hot as fuck down here, so pretty sure we're not doing a whole lot of ice sports. Like we even got rid of hockey locally. We gave up our only hockey team in Houston for some stupid fucking reason. And we gave them up when we were pretty good at it too. That was pretty bad. But like curling, I used to watch as a joke because it was, and then I get so fucking hyped watching it. It's like a weird combination of fucking bowling and shuffleboard, and like the sheer intensity. And once you like learning the rules is a pain in the dick though. It's just like, okay, wait, how does this count? How do we do this? But also in a way it's like cornhole because you have like two things in the same ring, it cancels each other out. So actually in that way it's like cornhole too. So it's kind of funny. I was like, I don't know why it's so fun to watch, but when that shit was on during the Olympics, I was like, I'm watching every fucking game. It's like, I don't care who's winning. I'm just enjoying watching. It's like, this is fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
And like we went out, I don't even remember where we were. Like we went to some restaurant and the shit was on. It's like I'm glued to the TV the whole time, and she's trying to talk to me. I was like, "Shut up, curling is on." I would go though if I come
Curling
visit and
and
there's curling happening. I'm going.
hey, show up. Like we'll make it happen. We'll make
We'll
it.
get
We'll make it a team
outing.
building event.
Look, we'll go get some beers and go watch some curling. We'll be some rowdy curling fans.
But that's the thing too. It's like it's like something like that for me at least. I feel like you gotta allow me to have some beer. You
Oh,
can't
of
expect me to
course.
come in there and go curling and do this sober with a straight face. But that's the thing too. I feel like, and I know I was this guy when it came to jiu-jitsu. It's like take my sport serious, don't disrespect it. Da da da.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are guys that are like doing curling
Yeah.
and they're fucking hardcore serious about the shit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, settle down.
I
It's not that
think
deep.
it was on Mike Rowe's channel, I believe, because he still does not quite dirty job, but he does other stuff like that too. I mean, he still is doing dirty jobs, but he also does like somebody's got to do it, and then he also just tours. And I think he definitely did a curling team thing. He actually went to go see how it works and all that stuff, and like competed a little bit, and he was being beat by like a 14-year-old girl. It was pretty fucking good. Like, 'cause she's been doing it literally her whole fucking life, and he'd never bothered to even throw a stone. But it's just something about it. I don't know why. It's just like I'm fucking enjoying this. Like, there's something about the sheer precision of it. I'm just like, I don't know. It's like darts and all this other kind of shit. It's like you get some like legit dart players. They're stupid
Yeah.
fucking intense. Like professional pool gets fun to watch sometimes, but then like it's almost like no, there needs to be like fucking honky tonk music and it's got to be smoky in here. I'm not. There's like I need the atmosphere for pool. It's like just watching someone just go out there and fucking run a table. It's like, oh well, you fucked up the break. The other person wins. It's like that kind of shit.
I mean, if Jeanette Lee is playing, I'm definitely gonna tune in.
Okay,
Unlike me,
okay.
a good Asian broad, but
I mean, everybody loves a Black Widow, but it is what it is.
absolutely,
Yep. I mean, she was
absolutely.
fantastic
Go
in
ahead
her
and run my
prime.
life, kid.
I'm sure she's still good, but she's not. I think she's retired, isn't she? Or at least from the competition side.
Yeah, she's retired.
Yeah, because she was.
Mhm.
I've seen her doing regular and then tricks and all that stuff. And tricks is fun, but you just know they're destroying the fucking table and the cues as they fucking do that shit.
Yeah,
It's fun.
no,
Watching
there's a
people break physics is great, but
like, they're like there are those sports where it's like I think anything where someone gets really really fucking good, like you mentioned darts.
yeah,
It's like someone that's just that fucking good at it. It's like I'm fascinated. I
hmm
love seeing people get really good at something because I want to figure it out. I want to know, like, your regimen. How did you get here? How did you
hmm
get there? And I always say that when I think about martial arts, and if you get a black belt in something like a legit black belt,
yeah,
it's no different than you went to college, you got a degree. It's like if you got a degree here, that means you got the aptitude and the patience and the drive to go get a degree here as well. The same thing with a black belt. It's like, okay, you're a black belt in judo. Okay, you turn around and get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You turn around, now you're a fucking expert dart thrower. You turn around, now you're a fucking expert bow hunter.
hmm
It's like it's like when you're dialed in like that. I get fascinated by people who get dialed into things like that. And the thing is, for me, I can't. It's like, as much as I love jiu-jitsu, I don't take it to the extreme where I'm breaking my body anymore. If this were 15 or 20 years ago, maybe.
yeah,
I'm 45. I'm not that dedicated to physically doing it, but I love watching, my teammates going out there and killing it. And then I love going to, train with them and spar with them just to see. Because it's like, look, this motherfucker just went out there and won a world title.
yeah,
Let me roll this bitch.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's legit. Like, it's not like I'm just some regular stray off the street. I know how to grapple. I know what they're going for. I know how to counter it. And it's like, oh nope, they decided I'm going to make you do what I want you to do. All right, you are a legit world champ.
Yeah.
Like, then go up against a wrestler. Same deal. Like, oh, you're a D1 wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I guess you are.
Oh, yeah. So when they can demonstrate their craft, yeah, it's fantastic. Well, that reminded me, because
Yeah.
especially when you mentioned like martial arts, it reminded me of Kyoto. if you know what that is. That's the Japanese archery martial arts, where they have like the big fuck off bow and that shit.
Yeah.
Like that shit. Like if you ever watch the sword making and the slicing competitions, it's like that level of shit. Especially when it's like the legit stuff and like when there's a failure, because you get judged on every little thing, like your technique, the release, the aim, all of that shit. And if you fail by like a millimeter compared to your previous shot, it is literally like a fucking gut punch. And like watching the precision that people have to do for that shit is nuts. Like if you watch the dudes, like half the time they won't even have their pulling arm out, like it's inside their fucking robes. And then like they do the whole thing where they like pull the robe out and it's got to fall exactly right.
Yeah.
And like then they got to do the shit. I was like, it's a show, but it's also incredible use of technique in every aspect of it. Like your steps, your breathing, all that shit. Like archery already takes a lot. But like for something that's been around for, I don't even know how many hundreds of years, you know, in this case, I'm sure it tells me right here that it probably started in like the 1600s. Nope, I'm way wrong. It's probably 12th century, give or take. So I was off by a little. But then also that, like I said, with the sword making, you know, when they do the katana competitions and shit like that, and like they don't cut as many fucking bamboo shoots or sugarcane or whatever it technically is, and like or the fucking thing breaks in the middle of a slice, and like it is literally like, well, there went my money for the fucking year because I had to win this competition. It's like, you think Forged in Fire is some bullshit. It's like, no. Go watch these dudes do this shit. And then you get some dude up there who's like 79, and he's literally spent 3.5 months making this sword, and he gets up there and literally does the fucking anime thing and just goes, and then watch everything fucking fall down. You're like, calm down, Hattori Hanzo. Let's leave some for the rest of us. It's like, holy fuck.
I like shit like that because I like shit that is practical. You know, it's like that could be, you know, when I say that, you know, it's like basketball.
Yeah.
I like me some basketball. But it's like, okay, if you're really, really good at basketball, you're really, really good at basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's probably not going to come in handy somewhere else.
No.
If you're really good at football, you're really, really good in specific positions at football. It's probably not going to serve you much purpose in many other things.
Yeah.
You know, outside the ideal of the quarterback, because quarterbacks tend to be decent leaders and field generals. So, you know, there are elements that'll play out. But you know, when you think about something like this, it's like, okay, that, you know, that can serve, you know, somewhere. You know, it's like from the outside view, it's like, what are you ever going to use that for? It's like, I'm sure that's going to have some value.
Well, the practicality, you know, of building something outside you could sell, not necessarily your skill in swinging the thing, but you made something that people would pay thousands of dollars for. So, I mean, there's that.
Well, just the idea of like being able to build something though, too, being able to craft something. It's like, okay, like if you said to me, like, let's say, like, you know, you live in the area, and I'm like, oh, Shoky, you know, you want to come over and pot this weekend? Nah, dude, you know, I'm really, really working on something. I'm like, fuck, this dude never wants to fucking come over and fucking pot. And he's like, do I smell? What the fuck? And then I see, you know, what you've been working on. I was like, oh my Lord, like, much respect. You know, I don't.
There better be something good.
I don't know. It's like
there's rate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even with like my teammates, it's like, hey, you know, are you able to record on a Saturday? Well, I can't because, you know, I'm training for a fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's more important. Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, it's like you're training. And it's not just like, oh, you're training for a fight. Yes, you're going to go compete in a fight, but also compete in that fight, train in a fight. You know, if you encounter a situation out and about, chances are you're going to probably avoid the fight. But if you're forced to have to fight, you know, it's like, okay, that has a practical use.
Yeah.
You know, that's defending your family.
Well,
you know, professional shooters, you know, especially, it's like, okay, you think, oh, that's just silly. You know, like, no, I mean, they're competing, but also, again, that's a practical use.
Yeah.
Like, I got to fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
That's the guy that's going to do it.
Like being able to draw and fire 9 shots in less than 4 seconds. I mean, yeah, that's pretty fucking practical.
Yeah.
I mean, you hope to literally never have to use that, but when you can literally do that shit before the other person can blink, yeah, I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive. I mean, like
Yeah,
anytime
yeah.
it's like the hunting skills and shit like that, like either archery or long shooting or something like that, of course, practical skills.
Hmm.
But by then you also know enough about the weapons you're using and stuff like that, so you can apply that knowledge to other purposes,
Yep.
selling or whatever,
Yeah.
or
There's.
podcasting like Brandon Herrera or something like that. The
Yeah.
AK guy, or some of the other gun tubers. But
That's what I always like joke about when it comes to the ideal of like YouTube. Even though yes, I do a podcast, about martial arts and horror movies. I don't necessarily feel like I am well versed in those things,
mhm.
but I know enough to engage with other people who might, we can have an engaging conversation, and it serves a purpose. But then, like, whenever I think about the ideal of like YouTube videos and YouTube content, I'm like, I don't know shit about shit to be able to, explain how to do something on YouTube. And somebody
Yeah.
says, you know what? That video was useful. Most of the shit, if you look at my basement, most of the shit is held together by bubble gum
Mhm.
and bubble gum and prayers. It's like you look at the fucking floating shows on my wall, they're leaning. It's like, I don't think they're supposed to do that.
Mhm.
But when you put your fingers on there, you tilt them just enough, it looks fine. When I take the pictures, I take them at a certain angle. It looks perfect.
You don't even
But if
notice.
you see that shit in person, you
Yeah.
like Sophie said it the other day. She was dusting and she looks at the wall. And she goes, "Dad, that one shelf there's leaning really bad." It's like, no, baby, it's okay.
It's okay. It'll be
Fuck out
fine.
my basement.
Good. Thanks for dusting. I mean, like
Yeah, get out of here, but
I've gotten compliments like that over time, like doing my videos and stuff back when I was very prolific, and they're like, "Oh man, it's like the level of quality and all this other stuff." I'm like, "Dude, I'm filming this on my phone with like using a phone clip, a piece of wood, and a shitty tripod. It's like with a fucking thing that I slapped together from fucking PVC and fucking bucket lights from Home Depot." And it's just like you don't have. It's like everybody thinks you got to spend $10,000 to fucking have a nice rig. Is like, I mean, things will look fucking fantastic at that point. But I mean, look how long Bobby's been using the same fucking camera up until recently. Yeah, he only recently got a brand new camera. And I asked him, I was like, "Don't you have like a decent iPhone or something?" And I was like, he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Why not film with that? You already have it. It's right there." He's like, "Well, I like my camera." I was like, "Fair enough." I was like, but it's like it is what it is. I mean, he's finally coming into the modern era. So that's good. That's very good for Bobby to do that. Because even my very first review I ever did, I did on a fucking digital camcorder. It's like the only time I used that fucking camera, realistically. And then I got rid of it many years later because it just wasn't worth it. And then the fucking, the Samsung phones, they're so goddamn good. All you got to do is just get the fucking phone clips and a tripod, and in this case, an external fucking microphone because my internal microphone died on me. Or got clogged up. But it's just like, it's just fucking, you figure it out. I mean, like the technology is there to get better at doing the YouTubes. It's just right now, the best thing you can learn is fucking scraping your metadata together properly so that it gets hit everywhere that it should. I'm not great at that. So my shit doesn't get seen as much as it should. Even when I try, I'm still not good at it,
I Forrest Gump my way into that too.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how this shit happens, but it works. And I think for me, what it is like I just connect to the right people
Yeah.
and it feeds off of them, and then it all works out. Whereas, because people ask me, it's like, well, how'd you get to this number? It's like, don't, I honestly don't know. Like, I wasn't trying, I was just doing. And that's what I've been telling Steve right now. He's stressed about the TikTok views for Colompton. He's
Yeah.
like, well, they say do this and they say don't do that, and they say do this. It's like, dude, fuck what? Who is they? Did TikTok tell you that? Because TikTok,
who is they though?
like, yeah, who's they? Because like, I don't know. Like we've got some internal conflict when it comes to like my advice. Because it's like, motherfucker, I got 134,000 followers,
Yeah.
like on one thing, and like let's not factor in the 30,000 on the other things. Like, I think I might be able to help get you moving.
Yeah.
But like, don't ask me like fine points like this, and that. But it's like, look, I can get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like, what do you do once the ball is rolling? You've got to be able to keep that momentum going. I'll get you to the dance.
Yeah.
But you got to dance.
Yeah. But you got to pick up the bitch.
Yeah. Like, but what was I gonna say? There was something to that though. to when it comes to like the content creation,
Yeah.
and just YouTube and period, like you're saying, um with the devices that we're using. I mean, like, yeah, I have I don't even know what Samsung I have, but I have a Samsung phone, and I've made a couple clips here and there. For me, I think what gets into my head when it comes to any content creation is I see other creators doing these cool things. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then again, you find out the time behind the scenes that it took.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, that's a 15-second video, but that 15-second video took them an hour and a half to
Yeah.
fucking put together. Meanwhile, I'm over here, it's like, well, why can't I make it happen so quick? It's like, no, it's going to take you forever, whether it be trying to splice together the scenes
Yep.
and make it look flawless, or however it's going to go. But you look at, again, the shit that I have here. I have like I make things work. And there's this podcast on they're on Instagram. Basically, I guess they were interviewing somebody on their podcast, and they're basically saying they tell everybody not to do a podcast because they're like, because the amount of money that we put into this podcast, I mean, we put tens of thousands of dollars into this podcast, and it looks nice, it looks fine.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, why? I put $75 into mine initially to start off. I mean, right now, if you ask me, how much I've spent in total, I mean, it's probably still under 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, like you said, there are guys that are like, hey, we got to have all this stuff in, fucking rigs and fucking lights, cameras, and action and all these big things. It's like, no, sometimes just be authentically you.
Yeah.
Fucking put your fucking camera phone up, get a ring light, and just start from there. And sometimes there's some people that just stay with that.
Yeah.
And
it works.
There's some folks that they want to grow and expand and say, hey, let's go outside and do some shit. Okay, now you're gonna get a little bit more squirrely, get some drones and get wild. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Just,
if
do you, baby.
if you got the time and the drive, you can make it happen. It's like, but if you got the money out for that, then, well, you already got a head start over everybody else. It's like, so, I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, like, that's one thing that sucked about the area I was in with the Gundam stuff on YouTube. It's like, I was jumping in late to the party, and yeah, I was growing very quickly, but I couldn't compete with people who were in Japan and Korea who could get the shit day of release. I got to wait at least 2 to 3 weeks before I could even remotely get my hands on the shit. And like, those guys already have like thousands upon thousands of subscribers. They get to shit immediately. And then sometimes you can have a single video that goes insanely viral, and then that's all you need. And then you're good to go forever after that. There's one, and I don't remember what the name of the channel was anymore. They had a single video that did like 45,000 views in like 2 days. And it was only like their 6th video ever, but it was like a really good thumbnail. They put it out at the exact right time, and then that channel just exploded from there. They went from like 1,500 subscribers to like 200,000 subscribers in like a year off of a single video, basically. And it's like, so sometimes you just get lucky, realistically. But like, when it comes to podcasting, yeah, it helps to. I mean, if you're just doing it nonchalant like we're doing here, then yeah, you don't need to spend much money on it. I mean, you're gonna have to get certain equipment and stuff like that, or an app at bare minimum. And if you're going hardcore, some editing software, which can be free or not. Some people just have bullshit editing software on their phone, and they just do the thing. Some people spend a fuckload of money on Adobe, and then they're using it every other day, so make sure they get their money's worth.
Well, that's always my concern. Is like, if I'm going to spend my money on something, it's like, how do I make sure I get my money's worth?
Yeah.
Also, my attention span. How do I make sure I care enough in a month that it is worth my money? Because I do have a tendency to, jiu-jitsu and podcasting might be the things that I've held on to the most in terms of like sticking with it. Most things, football, but I mean, even football, like we just talked about it the other night. It's like I've actually fell out of love with football for a minute. And now I'm back to enjoying it. But basketball, when Steve was talking about basketball last night, I was like, I'm going to be honest. I don't care anymore. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah. Like, I've moved on from basketball, and I think part of it is I don't play it anymore. Also, we talk about athletes who don't like, they do it because they're getting paid. But there are a lot of athletes that don't actually really like the sport that they're playing,
Oh yeah.
but they are getting paid. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but when I look at like, again, we're just nonchalantly like podcasts. I mean, it's like we're not like, hey, we're doing this, to pay our bills. We're doing this legit for funsies.
Yeah.
If money happens to come from it, cool, but we're not quitting our day jobs to do it. Which, again, on that note, why spend a bunch of money? Whereas the guys who, have that one specific podcast, I believe it's called Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. I mean, their brand, good for them. But I think also going into it though, that's what they're seeking out to do though too. They're like, look, we need to create a brand. Whereas BJJ Wiki accidentally became something. Again, it's like things just started rolling. But I think part of what that was just me being like interactive with people and being like cool with people. It's like when people say something shitty, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm gonna keep making my content, or I'm gonna keep reposting content, and I'm also gonna credit the person who it came from originally. And I think that's what really brought people in. They're like, okay, this dude is really for the community, and that's how the community built around me. Versus like there are people that are like, well, I want to do that, we'll do it. Like there's not much to it. Just do it. Just be cool.
Do the thing.
Just be cool.
Just go do the thing.
Yeah.
And ask questions of other people who are doing the thing, and if they're cool, they'll help you out. It's like if there should be no gatekeeping in this shit, and I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's like no, my fame is mine. You can't come close to this. And I encountered that myself a couple times. Basically, it was like whenever I wanted to interview certain YouTubers and stuff like that, they were kind of, they found out that, I didn't have big numbers and shit like that. They're like, no, you're not big enough for me to bother with. And there's other people where I ask for help, or promotion. Be like, hey, I'm doing this charity gig. Would you promote it on your channel? And they're like, sure. And then they literally take 2 seconds to fucking talk about it. I was like, that's not what I meant. I meant like fucking talk about it. Like do a tiny bit of research and go, hey, this is a good cause. I've got this huge audience. Go check this out. Like, no, literally like, oh, by the way, this is a thing, and then move the fuck on. Like with your thing. I was like, oh, that's not what I meant, but I mean, like, thanks for the effort. And I'm like, okay. Thanks, little guy. Pat on the head.
Like, oh, look at him. He's so adorable. Pat.
Yeah, that was one reason why I quit doing the charity stuff. Is like because I was sinking more money into it than was coming about, and because my channel was shrinking at the time, and other people were just like new shiny. I was like, let's go find the new shiny. Let's not bother with this shit. Like the most profitable year that I ever had with the charity gig was, I think, the second year. And that's because like we did a lot of promo for it, and it was a good cause and a fun punny name, which always helps. And then from there on, it just kept falling off. I'm just like I'm done doing. It's like at this point, I'm just not going to bother. It's just not getting anywhere. It's like I've got the 2 or 3 diehards, but the 1 year, it's like legitimately like spending money on the prizes cost me more money than I got in the fucking first place from the charity. It's just like, and I don't mean me, I mean like donations, like because it was 100% went to the thing. I'm just like, nope, I'm done. It's like it's like if it's gonna drop off this bad, I'm not gonna bother, and then not gonna get any help from other people at this point. It's like I would do anything to help anybody if they're asking me for it. Like if you came to me and you're like, hey, how do I use this thing to make this thing? And I'd be like, okay, well, do this and whatever. And if I got to pull up a video and fucking show you how to do the thing, or it's like, I'll fly to Maryland, I'll show you how to fucking do it. A little excessive, but it could happen. It's like, I need a vacation. Thanks for being my excuse.
Yeah, just heard there'd be a knock at the door. I was like, what the fuck's that? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, here, I brought all the equipment.
Here, I brought all the equipment. I'll show you how to do this shit. I mean, I've done it before, but not that far. I mean, I've driven to Houston to do such a thing, but I've not, flown to another state with equipment.
That's when I turned to Sarah. Like, hey, you're gonna need to make a little bit more extra chicken pot pie, baby.
Oh fuck yeah! Let's get some chicken pot pie going.
Homemade, she just made homemade chicken pot pie on was it last night? Oh yeah, last night.
Ooh.
God, dude, it's so good. We get it. I think she does it. If we're lucky, we get it 3 times a year.
Yeah.
But it's so because winter months, so it's so fucking good, dude.
Homemade crust or store bought?
And I've been Homemade.
Okay,
Homemade.
I'm just asking. Sometimes you got a shortcut.
No. Because
Nobody got time to be
when I
making
do,
dough.
son, we do. When I do my apple crisp, it's all from scratch. When I do my peach cobbler, all from scratch. But every so often,
Uh-huh.
I might go get the mix just to fucking save time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like baking, like we're all scratch. Like if we do a cake, I mean, it's
Yeah, a cake is a cake.
like
You know.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not fucking around with all that shit. Just go get some fucking, Dunkin' Hines and fucking throw the shit in the fucking oven.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. Is it yummy? Yeah. All right, fuck off.
Now the real question is: are you using lard at all in your cooking?
So Sarah was using lard for the chicken pot pie.
I was going to ask.
Yeah. Last night when she made it, she used butter.
Okay.
And
real butter's not bad. It's just
actually,
yeah.
It was fine. It tastes it still worked. It was real good.
Yeah.
The lard though, it's like
it's different.
There's a little so I think why she decided to switch, she wanted to see how she felt with heartburn and stuff like that.
Sure.
And I think it sounds like she's fine. I felt fine. I didn't have any heartburn or anything, so I was like, all right, it tastes good, no heartburn. Maybe we'll stick with this. But
to me, it's like get some Prevacid and power through. It's like, no, it's worth it. Fuck
that's
it.
how it used to be.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was like I would eat half the pan.
Yeah.
Like just deal with the pain.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
And so for anybody who doesn't know, the reason why McDonald's fries used to be so fucking good is because McDonald's fries used to be cooked in lard. Now they're cooked in hydrogenated bullshit oil. So, dude, I'll tell you what though. I got some Wagyu beef tallow as cooking solution, and I've been using it in places I wouldn't have thought to use it. Like in the bedroom. No, I'm just kidding. But like I made spaghetti the other night, right? I'm not going hardcore. I'm buying fucking sauce in a can, whatnot, or in a jar. But when I made the meat, I oiled the pan with the fucking Wagyu beef tallow. So I just took run of the mill fucking 80/20 and I fried the fucking meat in badass beef tallow. And I'll tell you what.
Yep.
Even after like a couple of days of it being in the fridge, like just eating the meat alone without like everything else a whole lot, it tasted better than if you had just done all the things. And also, I didn't drain the grease out of it. I just fucking stirred that bitch in. It's like, because it always tells you.
That's how I used to do it.
Yeah.
Mix it.
Yeah, just mix it in really good. But then also I add butter once I put the sauce in with the meat, and like I get it to like after it's simmered for a bit, I toss butter in there. I was like, yeah, it fucking makes it a little richer. Also, throw in a tiny bit of MSG just for the fun of it, because I've also learned how good MSG is on things. Thanks to Uncle Roger. If you don't watch Uncle Roger on YouTube, you fucking need to. You'll learn about the best white powder out there. And I'll tell you what, dude, I put some fucking MSG.
Depends on what party you're at.
Yep. Well, I mean, nobody's snorting MSG, but you could. It might sting. But
you don't know what I do on the weekends.
I mean, true. But like I made because I've got all kinds of Asian condiments in the fridge and stuff like that. So like I'll zhuzh up some tuna mix, with some pickles and some fucking Kewpie mayo and some fucking garlic chili oil and shit like that. And I'll just fucking throw a sprinkle of fucking MSG in there. I was like, yeah, this is fucking good shit. Dude, I'll tell you what though, the best fried chicken I've made so far was in like 80% beef tallow, 20% butter. And I had fucking MSG and everything. I did the fucking chicken in the fucking buttermilk and all the seasonings and shit like that. And I seasoned the fuck out of the thing. Oh my God, those sandwiches were so goddamn good. It was like the only way it could have been better is if I had slightly better buns. They were already good brioche buns, but it could have been slightly better. Maybe it could have gone potato roll. Maybe.
No,
there's a balance there to be struck between a good Martin's potato roll and a fucking brioche bun. Like there's something you can do there. Because I prefer burgers to be on a brioche bun for the most part, but with chicken sandwiches, I mean, you can do a lot. You know, if you got some good sourdough laying around, that'd be good too, depending on the sandwich. But
I've
MSG,
been trying to convince Sarah to do, some cooking stuff on YouTube.
yeah,
Because it's like, you can cook your ass off, and like you're super detailed about what you do. I mean, just set the camera up. We have all the equipment
yeah.
to do it.
You could have a
It's like
at-home
it's
cooking show.
yeah, but she's just been like, well, because of the nature of her job,
Mm,
her current contract is about to end this week.
mm.
So I think she said she's going to take next week off just with Christmas and everything.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna see if I can nudge her a little bit. It was like, look, we got some free time. Let's like shoot a few videos and just see where it goes.
yeah,
I mean, for the kitchen, not
yeah.
the other videos. Are
That's
cheap
not for
too,
distribution.
but
That's for the Patreon.
no, I mean OnlyFans.
I mean the
I got
OnlyFans.
fucking gas is high, eggs is high. So I got to pay for things, dude.
Yeah,
The
eggs are.
Marvel Legends are going up in price, so
Yeah, we talked about that before.
with
But
fewer accessories.
yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you though, if you haven't, I'll send you the link to that beef tallow because it's only like $25 for a fucking big ass thing of it on Amazon. And it's fucking amazing, dude. I never thought to fry chicken in beef fat. I was like, it's stupid good. I mean, like I was gonna buy the lard because also you can fry chicken in lard and it's also really fucking good. But with the
Yeah.
but with the fucking butter, like it was half butter, half fucking, or not half, but it was close enough 70 30 80 20 fucking butter and fucking beef tallow, and then like I fucking drained it. Oh, I'm sorry, no, not beef. I'm sorry, not butter. It was peanut oil and beef tallow. So that shit was really fucking good. Hopefully nobody's like peanut oil is much better for frying stuff than other things. But it does fucking heat up
Sometimes you
fast
got to
compared to
power through with
vegetable.
the allergies.
Sometimes. I mean like fucking take some Benadryl and then have you some fucking Chick-fil-A. Cuz they use
That's what I tend to do.
yeah, cuz they use and see that's also part of the key to Chick-fil-A. They use peanut oil and they actually use MSG in their fucking breading. So it's good fucking shit. So it was peanut oil
Love it
and
all.
beef tallow. That's what it was. Fucking peanut oil is stupid expensive. I think I paid $16 for the small bottle I had. It was like a wine bottle size. But it was like 24 for like a jug of peanut oil. Like you would fry a turkey or something. I'm like, I don't need that much. I'm not frying that much. And then if I have that much, I'm going to use that much. That's the way I look at it. But I tell you what, I did
I
reuse
am
it
that way
twice.
too.
I did reuse it twice, and like it actually like was cleaner than normally when I do like vegetable oil because vegetable oil gets a little gross after you fucking use it a couple times,
Yeah.
even if you filter it. But the peanut oil, for some reason, even with the beef tallow in there, it fucking held up through 2 fryings.
I'm trying to think. I think we use vegetable oil at the one restaurant we worked at.
Mhm.
Um,
And peanut oil
'Cause, I mean,
smells better when it's
yeah,
because vegetable oil once it gets in your nose after a while, and it's just like I'm tired of fucking smelling this. I was like, but there's I don't know what it was, but next time I fry chicken, I'm gotta make sure I buy more peanut oil because fuck me, that was good. I need like a legit like cast iron like Dutch oven to fucking fry stuff in. Like I'm using like just a deep fucking non-stick pan, which definitely should not be doing frying things, but it's easy. But also that peanut oil heated up so fucking fast, I was scared. I was like, "Oh fuck!" It's like I'm sitting here trying to make fries, and the fries are gonna be in there for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" It's like the peanut oil is already up to temp. It's like, let me fucking tweak this shit on my stupid ass electric oven. I need a fucking grill, nice
I
outdoor
almost
grill.
burned down my well, not my home, but whatever home I was living in as a kid
Yeah,
because I was curious because there's a pot of oil on the stove. And I wanted to know if it boiled like water, so I turned it on. But I was also a little kid, so I got distracted and started watching cartoons and forgot.
yeah. Well, it definitely
And I'm
boiled
sitting there and oh yeah, that's one way of putting it.
over.
And I remember sitting and looking, and I saw flickering on the wall.
Yeah,
And I went into the kitchen and saw a big ass flame. Fortunately, this was not like this was one of the times that someone was actually home with us.
yeah.
I went upstairs and woke my uncle up because he worked nights. He was a stripper, so I went upstairs,
I'm sorry. Whoa,
banging
whoa,
on
no,
the
no,
door.
no, no.
Woke
Go
him
back,
up.
go back. Your uncle was a stripper.
Yeah. He used to go across, the over to Canada and strip.
No shit.
Now he now he teaches ballroom dancing. So there's a path there somewhere.
Okay.
But
Okay. I'm living to be.
Fortunately, I'm actually going to try to get him off the mats. I do want to talk about his story.
That sounds
I was
fun.
like, so you went from a male stripper in Canada to a ballroom dancer instructor and competitions and stuff. Walk me through this. I
Yeah.
need to know.
I need, through the decades. we need to
Because
go over
I was a
this.
kid. Yeah, I was a kid. I didn't understand. I remember them like always like they would have these like flashy like sequin suits and shit.
Mhm.
And it's like I just remember always seeing them like get the suits in hanging them up, and it's like what the fuck is this shit? Like who goes out in sparkly clothes? And it's like
Who goes
now
out?
I
With,
get
who
it.
goes out with sparkly skin that isn't a vampire?
Yeah, it's like what the fuck is this Twilight? This motherfucker shimmering.
I should not
But that
have.
was all I had to add there.
I should have not Amazoned peanut oil because now I'm gonna fucking be buying like a gallon of fucking peanut oil.
I've been buying just nonsense on Amazon like every day since last something.
Since last something,
And
I like
it's
that.
just
It's just at some point
yeah.
I've been doing the thing.
Yeah, I don't know when it started, but every day there's been a delivery. And today, because I was on Amazon while the guys were bowling, or they were. We didn't go bowling today. We went bowling on Friday, but I bought a bunch of shit. But then, I think it was just at lunch. I just started ordering shit, so that shit should be here in about an hour.
No, nice.
And then, I got, I grabbed a couple action figures because they had tons of accessories. There was a Black Widow in her gray suit with tons of accessories, and then the Doctor Strange, both the prices had dropped, tons of accessories. So I was like, let me just get these things now because why not? Oh, okay, let's see here. What's that? That's a message. Is that my delivery or is that my wife telling me,
That was
fucking
me.
get up here? Oh, no, that's you.
Yeah, that was me.
No, that's Shoky.
Yep.
Sending me Amazon shit. So now I'm just going to go back to Amazon and buy more shit.
But get that beef
Sarah's
tallow.
going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, get that fucking beef tallow. That's what I sent you was the link to the beef tallow. Because while I'm fucking scrolling, dude, I didn't think it would last as long as it did, but it fucking did. It's still going. It's fucking good shit.
Actually, what's funny is why'd my screen just go black?
Because your camera's been fucking frozen for a while. I just didn't say anything.
Well, I saw that. It did it yesterday too.
Yeah, it's like it's just running out of RAM.
It kept the recording going.
Yeah.
So I just said, okay, we'll keep going. I know that guy's messaging about his episode not coming out yet, so I'll reply to him. Someone sent me a movie to review for the podcast, the horror podcast, and actually, that's the name of the company. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, is that it? Hold on, let me look at. Look, yeah, that's the name of their company. Okay. Wagyu. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Well, when they sent me the message, I was like, this is some bullshit. But then they actually sent me all the links to the movie and behind the scenes. I was like, okay, the movie is boring, but I'm gonna watch it again and make sure that it was boring. I might have just been tired.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, was I tired of that movie?
Okay.
Suck.
I think the movie was interesting, but I think I was just sleepy. So I told her, look, I'm gonna watch it again, take some notes, and then get it to Phil and Joe, make them watch it. I want to sit down and talk about it and move on with our lives.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that same brand I sent you,
that's all I got.
Yeah, that same brand that I sent you, they do like a bucket of lard as well. But they also have like spray Wagyu beef tallow, so you can just do it like Pam spray instead of having to buy the whole fucking bucket. That's pretty interesting. It's like, who knew that I needed a spray bottle of Wagyu beef tallow? I mean, start watching a channel all about steak, you learn things. But all right, we are running out of time here, so it is all good. And like we rambled a bit, but it was still fun. Still didn't get to the main topic I wanted to, but that's okay. It was a heavy topic, and we were having more fun than that. So I'd rather just do that, and that's okay. Another time, a little less.
It works out.
Yeah, it worked out anyway. So, of course, Dante, thank you for coming and joining me again. I know you're busy man, but I appreciate your efforts You know, you've been here almost as much as any of my regular co-hosts have been this year, so it's good. I'm gonna keep making the joke every week until somebody fucking comes back to the goddamn show. So, guys, of course, if you want to write into the show, you can do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com, which is in the description down below if you want to write in with any questions, comments, or otherwise. But basically, like, it sucks that we've basically been every 2 weeks recently. It just, that's how life has worked out, unfortunately. Hopefully get back on our feet in the new year. December has been nuts. I mean, November was nuts, and December started out even more nuts. So, but yeah, of course, go subscribe to Dante's podcast if you haven't heard them. I mean, give them a listen first, then decide if you want to subscribe, because, I like the shows, but it doesn't mean you're going to like the shows. But if you like him here, you'll probably like him there. Lots of fun insights and jokes, and or making fun of Steve, or making Phil uncomfortable. So it's like, depending on how you want to go about that.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. It's like, eventually you'll find a way to make me uncomfortable, but we'll see. Like, he's like, you definitely know Phil better right now, so it is what it is. It's like, I kind of roll with everything, so I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. It's like I roll with everything, so it'll be fun.
Like, Phil's easy. Like, it's easy to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah. I was like, I won't tell you what my things are, so you have to find them the hard way. It's like, and I don't shy away from things. Like, a lot of other people be like, no, that's untouchable. I'm like, let's go play there. It's like, let's go over there and play and see what happens. And you're like, no, we can't do that. We can't fucking do that. Why? It's like, because this is the internet and we're alive. So why the fuck wouldn't we? It's like we're here, we're alive. Let's go do the thing.
It's
yeah.
It's like, if God didn't want us to have fun with the internet, he would not have let it be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have let Al Gore invent it. Supposedly. Yeah. Allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly. All right, buddy. Good seeing you again. So we'll talk. Oh, yeah, you got to send me the horror schedule for next year. You got to send me that. Yep. So, all right, guys. So if I don't,
I'll send it on Messenger tonight.
Okay, cool. And guys, have a good Christmas. If we don't see you before then, or whatever holidays you might be enjoying. I believe Ricky was doing some Hanukkah stuff last night. So good old Ricky and his faith. So, shout out to all the Jews. I mean, what else are you supposed to do for Hanukkah? Oh, look, my wife is calling me. Good timing. Bye, everybody.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.